So if we want to find x for one of these things, there's a shortcut that you can use, and the shortcut is basically when you're given the bigger side, you divide that by the square root of 2 to find the smaller side. So going in this direction, you divide it by the square root of 2. If you're given this number over here, let's say you're given that this is 30 and this is x, then going this way, instead of dividing by the square root of 2, you multiply by the square root of 2. Let me not write that multiplication sound like that. Let me do it like that. So what is that number? What is x, the green x that I have?
15.
The green x is, no, you're dividing by the square root of 2. So it's 30 divided by the square root of 2, which is the same as root 2 over 30 root 2 over 2, which is 15 root 2. See what I did there? Let me do the work down here for you. I'm multiplying by root 2 over root 2. And that just equals 30 root 2 over 2. And then the 2 and the 30 can cancel, and it gives me 15 root 2. Now let's check our answer. Well, if that's 15 root 2, then what's this over here?
15 root 2.
It's the same because it's a 45, 45, 90 angle or triangle. So what should happen? This squared, 15 root 2 squared plus 15 root 2 squared should equal what? 30 squared, right? Pythagorean's theorem?
Yeah.
So this would be 15 root 2 squared. Well, let's bring it back into what it was originally. It was 30 over root 2, right? So that's 30 squared over 2 plus 30 squared over 2 equals 30 squared. What's 1/2 of 30 squared plus 1/2 of 30 squared? 1 whole 30 squared. Make sense? And so that shows you that that actually worked.
Okay.
There's other ways you can prove why that's true, but just remember, if you're given the bigger number, to get the smaller side, you divide by root 2. If you're given the smaller side, one of the smaller sides, to get the bigger side, you multiply by root 2. Now, you're also going to see 30, 60, 90 triangles, and there's a similar little property, a little shortcut that you can do for that. So remember, if I have a 30, 60, 90, 30, 90, so that means this is 60, what's the smallest side going to have to be?
The leg.
This one across from the 30 is the smallest side. So let's say you're given that.
Okay.
If you're given that, then the biggest side is double that.
Okay.
And the medium side is that times root 3.
Okay.
Okay? If you're given the medium side, that's the medium side. How would I go over here to the smallest side?
Divide by root 3.
Good. Instead of multiplying by root 3, you divide by root 3. And then how would I get to this over here?
Divide by 2.
You would double it. You would double the smallest side, which is what? 2 times x over root 3. See how I did that? Okay, what if you're given the biggest side? What would you go to first if you're given the biggest side?
You would do half of that.
Exactly. You'd get this side by taking half of it. So this is x over 2. And then how would I go from this to the medium side?
X divided by square root of 3.
Look at what I did with the green. How do I get to the medium side from the small side? Multiply it by root. I multiply it by root 3. So I multiply x over 2 times root 3. Okay? So that's the way you do those problems. So let me just do a quick example for you. I'll do a hard example for you. If you're given a 30, 60, 90 triangle, they don't even always have to write the 60 in, right? If they wrote 30 in and they told you that this number is 2 over here, then what are these two numbers over here and here? This is the hardest problem, the hardest type of problem you get.
Yeah. I would do 2 over the square root of 3.
This is 2 over root 3,
Well,
which is
yeah.
which is the same as 2 root 3 over 3, right? If you simplify that. And then how would I get this one over here?
2.
You double it, right? You double that one, so what's 2 times this? It's just 4 root 3
square root,
over 3. So there's your 3 numbers. If you were given this number was 2, 30, 60, 90 like this, what's this side over here?
4.
I should change the color on this. So 2, if this is 2 over here, then this is 4, and this one is 2 root 3. And then the last example, I kind of screwed up because this one should have been red, but you get, so let me stop color coding it. What if you're given the biggest side? Whoops, not 4. Let's go with 2. What if they said this was 2? Then what would this be over here?
1.
And what would this be right here? 1 root 3. Okay, that's how you do those problems.